Hi there, another episode of Clark's Pacific Adventures. This video, I've had several requests to talk about the true cost of what our NCL Norwegian Bliss cruise to Alaska cost. And then I'd like to, at the end of the video, talk about the relative value that I received from the cruise. I'd like to split this video up into three sections. One is just run down the figures, the numbers, how much things cost, both in what we anticipated and then also the unanticipated cost, the things that we didn't know that we were going to pay for. And the second section of the video, talk about some of the, I think, mistakes that we made, rookie mistakes that we could improve on our next cruise experience. And then the third section, talk about the relative value of the cruising experience for me, and did I think it was worth it? So let's get with the numbers right out of the gate here. We had three separate staterooms. My mother had a extended balcony stateroom with a king size bed. It also had a queen size sofa that could be converted to a bed, and then a third bunk that would pull out of the overhead, the ceiling, and make a bunk bed. I did get an opportunity to see one of those through an open door, and it seemed to serve a family quite well. Although my mother just simply used her king size bed and had that beautiful view. That room was $3,200 for the cruise. So remember, this is a 6-night, 7-day cruise from Seattle to points in Alaska, Victoria, Canada, and then back to Seattle. Saturday to Saturday, first week of October. My sister and I each had our separate interior rooms, which had two twin-size beds. I kept that configuration, two twin-size beds, put my luggage on one and slept in the other. My sister's room, those beds were put together for her, where she had I guess that's a full size or a queen size bed, but a larger bed. Although she did say she could feel the center part of the bed, where they pushed the two beds together. So I'm glad I left in my room the beds apart and just slept in a twin bed all week. And the pillows and the mattresses, everything very comfortable for me. So no issues there. Those rooms ran about $1,500. So $3,200 for the extended balcony room for my mom, and then $1,500 for my sister's room, which was identical to my room, $1,500, except beds were either pushed together or stayed apart. You'd have to look into what the per person charge. So if my sister had stayed in my mother's room, as an example, you're not getting two rooms, but you're having a per person charge at that point. Don't know what that is. You'd have to explore that through a travel agent or through NCL Bliss. I will say that in planning this trip, my sister simply called NCL Norwegian Cruise Lines up and said, book us three rooms close together. That was one of the issues that we've had. The rooms appeared on the map to be across the hall from one another, and that turned out not to be the case. The backs of our rooms were across the hall from my mother's room, which required us to walk about a 300-yard pattern to get to her room. So not a deal breaker, but it was a different experience. We thought we would almost be not in adjoining rooms, but be right across the hallway from each other. So the total for those rooms, $3,200 plus the $1,500 and $1,500, that's $6,200 a night. Now, for that $6,200, you get obviously the room, and you get included meals. Now, they call those complimentary meals, but they're included. You're prepaying those meals. So I've figured we each ate about 21 meals each. If you count breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then on the shoulder days of embarkation and disembarkation, having one meal or two meals those days. So about 21 meals, which is 63 meals on those $6,200. That's included. Also included in that are three really excellent shows that we attended. One was Jersey Boys, which had been a Broadway show, and I thought was just a 10 stars out of 10 production on the ship. It was absolutely fantastic. Talked to a gentleman afterward who had seen that production on Broadway, or the Broadway production, and said the one on the ship was better. I'd invite you to look at the videos of where I tour. Part of the video is of the theater itself. It's a nice theater, very quaint, not too large. I do have a hearing deficit, and I could hear just fine, and thoroughly enjoyed it. That's included in, for instance, my room, the $1,500 room. The second play was Six, about King Edward's six wives. Another musical, was good. The performance was good. The content wasn't exactly my cup of tea, but that's okay. But it was good quality entertainment. And then the third show was the Beatles cover band that normally performed, I think, in what's called the Cave, which is a kind of a nightclub atmosphere. But one evening they put them in the theater to perform in the theater. So in that room charge, you got 21 meals during the week. You got three excellent productions. Again, that was our experience. There were other entertainment venues, comedians, and game shows, things like that we did not participate in, but those were available as well. And I think those were also included. So we'll talk about the relative value in a minute. I did upgrade to the Wi-Fi package so that I could do some work while I was on ship. And the Wi-Fi package, I think, ran about $180. I'm going to round all these numbers off. About $180. And I thought that was going to be enough for two people. Turned out not really. I think you could only have one device at a time working on that. So when my sister would try to use it, I'd have to log off. And then the service, we get spoiled here on land of high-speed internet, and so it's definitely not that. However, I could do most of what I needed to do. It was dependent on where you were in the ship. So $180, yeah, I had to have it. So you definitely need to do that. There is an internet cafe, and I did a video on that where you can pay a per usage charge or a per day charge. And then there are packages where you can pay the per day charge. So that's worth noting if you just need the internet for a day or two, not the whole trip. But for us, my sister and my mother used my phone to do internet calling, and that way they could call back home and check in and make sure everything was okay. So that $180 I thought was well spent. It's just I don't know, 7 or 8 stars out of 10 on reliability. And it was there. I think there was 1 or 2 times where it just was not available, but that was just for an hour or two, I think, and then I checked and it was back up and running. So that was I thought worthwhile. Now the drink package, I got the drink package, and to be honest with you, my sister did plan this trip, and I just flippantly said, "Hey, make sure to get me the drink package." I tend to have one or two, especially on vacation, 1 or 2 cocktails in the evening, maybe a cocktail during the day. And that drink package was about $830. In retrospect, I did not get the value out of that. I think you need to drink about double that to get the value. Now, what was interesting to me is what was included and what was not included. So I tend to like good bourbons. The selection of bourbons fell short in the first couple of bars that I went to, so I switched from bourbon back to martinis, and vodka martinis at that. So I just drank Grey Goose vodka martinis for the rest of the cruise. Sometimes I would be charged $2 or $3 extra dollars. There's a $15 threshold, I think, or that could have been a gratuity charge. Not sure, not a deal breaker, but that was the drink package. What was not included in that drink package were specialty coffee drinks from the bar. So if I wanted to go get a latte or something like that, that's not included. Bottled water was not included. So it was kind of a straight. I assume sodas were. I'm not sure if I got charged for sodas or not. I don't recall seeing that on the bill. And I would drink, Coke or Sprite or something every now and then. So the drink package, $830, probably would go a la carte on that if when we cruise again, unless there were other packages. Maybe there are other packages. I just didn't look that closely into it. So that's on us. So now we're up to 6,200 for the 3 rooms, $830 for the drink package, $180 for the Wi-Fi package. So the other thing that was an unintended or expense that we didn't anticipate was the $16 a day cleaning fee for your room. Now, there were two buttons in your room. One was do not disturb. They wouldn't come in at all while that was illuminated. There was a make room, and that was, I think, a heavy cleaning. And then if you had no selection push, they would come in and tidy up. And so that was well worth it. The $16, I was glad to do that. And that was per day per room. That was another $400. So those were the kind of the expenses. Now, like I said, I'll round up 6,200 for the 3 rooms, 830 for the drink package, 180 for the Wi-Fi package for me, and then the room cleaning charges for 3 rooms, $400 roughly. So $130 for each room. So $400. So a total for 3 adults for 6 nights and 3 days, $7,600. So let's talk relative value. Was it worth it? Absolutely. To me, it was the value to me. This for us was a family reunion of sorts. I've worked away from home for many years, and I think it had been a year or two since I'd gotten back home to see my sister and my mother. The difference of being on the ship as opposed to going to a resort or going to Hawaii or something like that, the ship really offered its own environment. So we would literally sit up on the observation deck and drink coffee and watch the ocean, watch Alaska go by, look for whales, Glacier Bay, all those things. I invite you to look at the previous videos. That was absolutely priceless to me and well worth it. The food was excellent. Again, the tips on the food that we didn't know on the breakfast and lunch and the main cafeteria in the garden cafe. Walk all the way to the front, and you're back at the observation deck looking over the bow of the ship. We discovered that on the last day. Wish we had discovered that on the first day. So again, that's on us. Hopefully, you'll benefit from our learning there. And then also that the complimentary restaurants, the nice restaurants, are open for lunch and sometimes breakfast, I believe. So one thing that I did not do, I didn't do any of these readings. I read a lot with work, so I didn't read one thing while I was on the ship. And that it does tell you the restaurants that are open. So our favorite restaurant, Taste, was open 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. every morning. So we literally could have had 3 meals there. We didn't know that. We thought that was Garden Cafe only, the buffet. So learn from us. So spread it around and don't make the mistake I made. Read your daily and spend 5 minutes with it. Some differences in Norwegian and in talking to other people who have cruised other lines are Norwegian's kind of freestyle daily. And the freestyle is it's up to you. So you dress up when you want to dress up. We had a couple of evenings where we dressed up to take some photographs. The other time, jeans and a shirt's fine. And I thought it was fine. I really like that freedom. And then you go to whatever restaurant you want to go to. So that's the money aspect. So let's talk about other expenses that you might incur to think about for your budget. Won't get into what we paid for it, but just something to consider when you're doing a budget or you're going to save for a cruise. One is transportation to the port. So my sister and my mother were flying in. I wanted to make it very stress free for them. So I wanted them to fly in the day before the cruise so we're not rushed in any way. Got them a suite at the Hampton Inn and Suites by the airport. Again, did a video review of that. I invite you to watch that. We did off pier parking, which I thought offered a better secure environment with the shuttle there. I actually thought I was doing valet parking. Turned out it was not valet, it was just off pier parking. But I'm glad I did it. Shuttles worked fine, and it was no stress. Picked up the car when we got back, and then did another hotel evening prior to them flying back. So again, there was no rush, there was no stress. Get off the ship that afternoon, go have a nice lunch, check into the hotel, and then get up in the morning, Sunday morning, and go to the airport and get checked in. And I highly recommend that if you have the time to be able to do that, to reduce the time crunch associated with trying to rush from one place to the other. So I think the Hampton Inn suite was roughly about $260. That does come with the included breakfast. The off site parking I think was about $20 a day. So roughly, or maybe $25 a day. I think that was $160. So if you want to include those. Now, if I had not driven in to the port, the hotel did have shuttles, so you could have flown in, taken the hotel shuttle to the airport, and then the next day paid. I think it was $45 a day a person to shuttle you to the ship. So you'd have to look into that. The other thing from a cost perspective is we did not shop these deals. We did not go through a travel agent. We did not, quite frankly, plan very well. And that's on us. We just simply, it was a stress-free vacation, a family reunion for my mother and my sister and me. My sister called up the cruise line and got the rack rate, so to speak. Talked to other people on the cruise where they got credits, they got airfare, they got other things filled in. So your experience will be different than ours. And I would invite you to do some checking. We will the next time we cruise, and we will cruise Norwegian. We absolutely love Norwegian, and 100% the staff and the crew. Let me talk a little bit about those two differences. So the crew runs the ship, and the staff runs the resort. If you think of it like that, an all-inclusive resort, and both the crew and the staff were exceptional. The attitude, the competence, the seamanship of the crew was absolutely incredible, world class across the board. The food I thought was exceptional in the special or in the restaurants. Oh, that was the other thing. We had three specialty restaurants that we simply didn't use. There are restaurants that they call charge applies, uh, and we had an evening or a lunch that was part of our included payment, but we didn't use that. Um, the other thing that I used was the gym. I got one good workout in. That's included, so you could literally get 5 6 visits to the gym. I guess you get 7 visits really to the gym every day if you wanted to. That's included. They do have a spa. Those are pretty pricey. Those packages. But again, you're getting a spa in the on the beautiful resort ship going through the Pacific Ocean. So that's worth paying a premium for. The one tip that I absolutely would give, and we will do the next time, is take the ship tour on your embarkation day. We did not do that. We wanted to relax. The check-in process was a little bit cumbersome for us, and we just wanted to sit down and have a cocktail and relax and eat lunch on embarkation day. And by that time, when we were finished with that, it was we could get to our rooms and get unpacked and kind of get ready. But in retrospect, we would take that ship's tour and look at all the higher end amenities that are available. So I would encourage you to do that. The other expenses that will depend on you are the souvenirs and the excursions. We did. My 80-year-old mother zip lined. She and I zip lined an icy Strait Point. I believe that ran about 150 to $200 each, but that did include the big gondola ride or the tram ride to the top of the mountain, and I think that was $40 if you didn't take the zip line. So that was absolutely well worth it. The green tram or the smaller tram in Icy Strait is complimentary. You don't have to pay for that one. That gets you over to the whale sculpture and the old cannery. That's a walk away. I encourage you to do both in Icy Strait. That's a nice port. We did take the tram in Juneau. That was very nice. Got a video from there as well, or a couple of videos from there. The view of Juneau at sunset was absolutely spectacular. Would encourage you. I think that was $25 a person to take that tram, and there's a big gift shop and some beer and coffee and stuff up there, and a beautiful scenic overlook outside. So I would encourage you to take that tram. There is a hiking trail. I think it's about 3 miles to hike up there. If you're want to do that, you certainly can. I'm on vacation, so I'm taking the tram. So those were, and then the gift shop goodies, both on the ship and in the ports of call. I thought, and it was a consent. My mother as well thought that the souvenir shopping in Ketchikan was the best. There was a large souvenir shop, almost like a large outlet shop that had the best deals. That was the place. In retrospect, I would have done all my souvenir shopping in Ketchikan, uh, except for the stuff that you cannot get on the ship. And there are some goodies on the ship that you want to get. Don't have high expectations on souvenirs from the ship. It's really kind of high end shopping, jewelry, watches, duty free type stuff that we at least we weren't interested in. So the souvenirs are, you get those in town, and of course you've got to get, whether you collect spoons or refrigerator magnets or postcards or whatever, you want to get those goodies in each of the ports of call. So that was that. So I hope this video helps you both in budgeting some expenses that we did not anticipate. None of it was a deal breaker. All in all, I think it was probably, I don't know, $8,000 for three people. So that's an investment both in time and a significant monetary investment. But for us, the value was there. The quality time that we got to spend together, the relationships that of the folks on the ship were just absolutely fantastic and world class. And they were so professional and so happy and so well trained and motivated that made the trip. So Norwegian, you are absolutely doing something right with your hiring practices, because that was absolutely first rate. So thank you for that. And let me know in the comments, please, if you have had similar experiences or different experiences. Again, I would give the experience a 10 out of 10 stars on whole. The That was, I just can't wait to do it again. And I would like to do Alaska again. There were certain things that we didn't see that I would like to see on another Alaska trip, and perhaps do an excursion or two on the next time that we go. I will say that we saw more whale watching from the observation deck that was reported than the folks who went on the whale watching excursions. Obviously, it's wildlife, so you can't depend on that. But be it just hanging out in the observation deck and watching the ocean go by was just absolutely fantastic for us. Hope this helps, and look forward to reading the comments. If you want another subject to be covered, uh, please let me know, and I'll be glad to make a video for that. And hope this helps you. I know it's a little bit long, but I really appreciate you hanging in there. And I want to give a shout out to my good friends who got me the subscribe button pillow. So please subscribe, like, and share. And be heading out to Asia this week, going to Korea and the Philippines and possibly Indonesia. So we'll be posting hopefully some vids while I'm on that trip. If not, I'll post them when I get back. So stay tuned for that. Again, thank you very much, and hope to see you again on the next one. Take good care. Bye now.